All right, so two U.S. House Republicans pitch a federal cannabis legalization bill. What that means to the adult use cannabis market, maybe it's going to accelerate the expansion of legal cannabis. We're going to talk about all that and more coming up. Welcome back to the Talking Hedge. I'm Josh Kincaid, capital markets analyst and host of your cannabis business podcast. So, two Republican congressmen in the U.S. and the House of Representatives, they introduced a bill that would legalize cannabis federally in a manner similar to alcohol. So, this is from Ohio and Alaska, a bill titled Common Sense Cannabis Reform for Veterans, Small Businesses, and Medical Professionals Act. So the measure would remove cannabis from the Federal Controlled Substances Act and provide explicit banking protections for the cannabis industry, and then allow military veterans access to state legal medical marijuana programs and expand research. So the U.S. House, they already passed the social justice focused descheduling bill, the MORE Act, but there's new Congress. And so a lot of people weren't elected. And so they have to start from scratch in terms of passing any cannabis legislation. So they're all kind of looking for Senate Majority Chuck Schumer of New York and fellow Democrats to kind of push this through. But what is it going to do for adult cannabis use? So we've got more than 100 million Americans with access to cannabis. That's more than 43% of the country's population in the U.S. New York is the most populous state. They got about 15 million people. And so their medical program is going to see more growth than when it obviously started in 2016. They're just under $111 million in 2020, and they're going to expect around $750 million in the first year, 2022. New Jersey obviously spurred some FOMO out of New York, and then New York just kind of had this domino effect. So that they'll probably push surrounding states. Pennsylvania will probably be accelerated by New Jersey and New York. Nobody wants to miss out on those tax revenue. Similarly, you had New Mexico that's going to probably push Texas a little bit faster than they wanted to, because they got that whole border area there as well. You don't really think about cannabis with New Mexico, but they've been around since 2007 with medical, developing a small market, but still 177 million in sales in 2020 isn't too bad there. U.S. adult rec is supposed to meet an $81 million expectation next year in 2022, and top 261 million. Virginia kind of came out of the gate out of nowhere, signing a bill April 21st, launching adult use as soon as January 2024. But I think they're actually going to speed that up a lot faster than those 3 years. So they're expected to bring in around 300 million in total sales by 2024, being the first southern state to legalize, hopefully turning a signal to other states, maybe the Carolinas, maybe Florida. I'm still kind of curious what comes out of there, being a dense flower. I know that there's different regions in Florida, but I'm just not I'm not convinced Florida is going to be able to do it, just like I don't think Canada can grow bananas. But maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. I just don't think for the price point they're going to be able to pull it off. Kentucky, they are obviously known for tobacco, which is not a dense flower. It's just a leaf. Leafy greens are much easier to grow. Still got powdery mildew issues, but Kentucky, the number one state in the United States in terms of the least funded pension plan. So yes, Mitch McConnell's there. However, they're broke. And tobacco is decreasing. So tobacco is already looking at cannabis. We already did an episode on that, how Philip Morris is looking specifically at cannabis. And Kentucky is going to have to pad their pension plan with cannabis revenue. Just a matter of time for them to do that. So we've been saying that for over a year now, looking just at the dollars on who's broke. Illinois followed. They were the worst in terms of least funded pension plans in the country. Now Kentucky is. That is the ones that don't already legalize cannabis. Obviously, Illinois does. So Kentucky is the next one on my list. So BDSA is actually expecting federal legalization next year in 2022, believe it or not. So they already know there's a lot of states that have laws that are criminalizing cannabis, but they're taking it state by state and looking at the numbers behind that. So they're anticipating that next year, cannabis is going to, there's enough bills that are going to reach Biden, or he's going to sign one of those. Um, I don't think so. I don't think he's going to sign it. But I hope I'm wrong. I think it's probably not going to happen during the next 3.5 years, or during this administration. Um, Maybe after, if he gets reelected, then maybe after that. But again, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully cannabis will be legalized, but I think that the long-term adult use effects are obvious with $1 billion in revenue that we're seeing coming out of Colorado and what they're able to do with that. Um, Taking away the requirement for federal intervention or federal funding, you can basically replace that with cannabis at the state level. So hopefully more states will be looking at that as an option, and just kind of be self-sustained. So with that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is the Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't. And I'm out. Don't forget to smash that like button on your way out and check out these other videos that we've got.